Hello my guys, and welcome back to Spill the Tea with Helen. How are you guys doing? Let me know. Now, fair warning, if your attention span has been destroyed by 30-second videos and quick thrills on social media, you are welcome to sign off this video, because as you can see, this is not a 30-second video, and it might even trigger you if you're a trad wife or feminist extremist. So if you're staying, stick around for the full video before you type your judgmental comment of fury. You have to understand the whole gist first. So the trad wife ideology is currently shaking at its very foundations after an article was released by the Times magazine about Anna Neeleman, who is famously known as Ballerina Farm. Now, you may have already come across some very passionate takes on social media about Anna and how she's suffering and smiling on her multi-million-dollar farm in Utah, and how the trad wife life is not all that is cracked up to be. But let me ask you a question. Have you been given the opportunity to form your own opinions about this matter without the influence of bias? I came across this controversy, and being someone who does not like to take things at face value, and especially things I see online, I decided to do my own digging and assessment, read the full article, and present you with the two sides of the story, because literally all I see online are people taking and defending just one side. If you're not familiar with the Ballerina Farm, she's a 34-year-old woman named Anna Neeleman, who is married to a 35-year-old billionaire heir to the JetBlue airline empire, Daniel Neeleman. Now, Anna has been termed the queen of trad wives, and she lives the ultimate trad wife lifestyle with her Mormon husband. They are both Mormons. And on her TikTok page and other social media pages, she publicizes this lifestyle. Now, as you very well may already know, the trad wives and feminists have literally been at each other's throats for a very long time now, with each party trying to invalidate the life choices of the other. So, a journalist from Times magazine went to the Ballerina Farm to interview Anna Neeleman, and from the tone of this interview, it seems like the interviewer was trying to, subtly nudge people in a particular direction of thought.
In April, I went to interview Hannah Neeleman, otherwise known as Ballerina Farm. There was Hannah, her husband Daniel, who's also the business partner, and their 8 children, along with cows, pigs, chickens, the whole shebang. I thought I was going to be interviewing Hannah. It turned out to be a little harder than that. Daniel is very involved in the brand. In fact, he kind of leads it. Hannah seemed to be the sort of face. Now, I spent the day with them and their 8 children and animals, really out in the sticks of Utah in the middle of nowhere. And I asked her when we were standing on the side of the mountain, is this what you always wanted to do? Is this always where you wanted to be? And she said that actually she wanted to live in New York City, that was her dream, and she had wanted to be a ballerina. It was sometimes hard to ask her questions, and it was sometimes hard to get a direct answer from her without her being interrupted or her deferring to her husband. Anyway, I tried to ask her all the questions that everyone online has been desperate to ask her for months, and you can read the full interview at thetimes.com.
Speaking about Anna's silence on the whole trad wife issue on social media, the interviewer says, and I quote, "Throughout the maelstrom, she, that is Anna, has remained, publicly at least, steadfast. She never explained, she never complained, a silence I had interpreted as defiance. But is it? Well, I have flown across the breadth of America and driven through the mountains of rural Utah to ask her if, that is, I can get her in loan." Now, for me, this was the first place I noticed the interviewer beginning to plant doubts in the minds of readers and nudge them to start asking questions of whether Anna is truly happy, even before they got to read the interview. So the reader is already coming into this article with some bias, when they have not even read a single word from Anna or Daniel. Kind of sounds like grooming to me. But anyway, you're free to have your own opinions. The interviewer goes ahead to describe what the Ballerina Farm and the inside of Anna's house looks like, and how she was welcomed by Daniel, Anna's husband. Then she points out in slide 9 that Anna took the baby Daniel was holding immediately the interviewer came into the house, and held onto her for the whole 4 hours that the interview lasted. And I think this was strategically pointed out to add weight to the factual statement made later in the article about how Anna has no help or nannies in the farm. She goes ahead to tag Anna, the most well-known trad wife, and asks them what they feel about this title that has now been attached to them. Daniel, on one hand, claims that he doesn't care about the title again, while Anna declares that she does not really identify as a trad wife. And truly, I've said this before in another video, I think, that these people we call trad wives are literally raking in a lot of money with their videos on social media. Like, can we really call them trad wives when they're making their own money? Anyway, back to the gist. This is where things begin to get a bit concerning. So the interviewer begins to make it look like there's some friction between the couple about a serious issue, which is childbearing. When they pass by the family's 15-seater minibus, she asks them if they plan to have more kids to fill up the bus. Daniel says yes, while Anna basically says, I'm not sure my body can take more pregnancies. And it only gets worse because it is then clearly pointed out as the interview progresses that Anna could only freely talk when Daniel was not present, giving the impression that she is somehow being silenced by her husband's presence. The interviewer says she gets a moment alone with Anna while Daniel is checking the animals and asks her if the tradwife life is what she always really wanted. And truly, it is from this point I began to feel sorry for Anna, because Anna says no, that her goal was to become a ballerina in New York, but she succumbed to knowing that her life would change after getting married and having kids. But on the flip side, when Daniel was asked whether this kind of life is what he wanted, he said yes, and that he expected Anna to be okay with basically being a stay-at-home mom. And the man goes ahead to narrate the story of how he had fallen in love with Anna from the first day that they met, but she told him no for 6 whole months. But he didn't give up, and he went as far as pulling strings in his daddy's airline company just so he could get a seat next to her on the flight. And luckily for him, that's how their relationship started. However, it didn't seem like Anna had much of a say in this relationship, because even though she told Daniel that she wanted to date for a year so she could finish school, he insisted that they get married straight away. So just 1 month into the relationship, they got engaged. 2 months after that, they were married, and 3 months after that, she was already knocked up and carrying the first Neeleman child. And the plot only thickens from here because the interviewer meticulously pens down all the sacrifices that Anna made in order to make this farm life a possibility, which was primarily giving up her dancing career, a sacrifice that Anna herself described as losing a piece of yourself. But on the other side, Daniel seems to be living his dream life, living in the great western wilds, owning a farm, having date nights once a week, and having no nannies, just like he wanted. And what's heartbreaking is that, according to the interview, the only thing that could have been Anna's personal thing in the farm was a small room she wanted to turn into a ballet studio. But this room was then used as a children's schoolroom. I really felt sorry for her when I read this part, and because of this article, people have begun to look at the videos on their social media pages with new and criticizing eyes. And I really can't say that the interviewer embellished this part of the interview because of the viral video circulating, which in my opinion lends credence to what she said about Anna not really having anything for herself. And that's the video of Anna's birthday, where she was hoping with all of her heart, as you can see in the video, that her husband got her tickets to Greece. She was hoping that, first she was asking him, I hope these are tickets to Greece, only to be presented with an egg apron as a gift.
It's my birthday present from Daniel. Hoping they're tickets to Greece.
Where's it from?
I don't know, the boys took it off.
I took it off.
It's from Ukraine.
So, plane tickets? Ooh, a hat I can wear in Greece.
What's that a hat?
It's not.
Oh, my egg apron!
He did it.
Great, they didn't gather eggs.
So
Yeah,
cute. It's really cute. It's a cute one.
That's the best. You're welcome.
Thanks, honey.
Not for a long time.
I was outraged when I watched the video, and it's not even a new video. This woman popped out 8 kids for you, my guy, and 7 of them without epidural. She gave up her dream to make your own dream come true. And instead of getting her tickets to Greece like she wanted, which she could have even gotten for free from your billionaire JetBlue owner father, Instead, you gave her a token to remember her duty of servitude on a day that should have been about her.
Men are not dumb. Men are not stupid. You're being manipulated. They don't want Pearl. Pearl isn't a conquest. They want to take the Juilliard-trained ballerina and make her dance in the field with the cows. There's no reason she couldn't be farming in Greece or wherever she wants to be, right? There's no reason she couldn't have kept her ballet studio. But no, now it's for the children, right? There's no reason she couldn't have a nanny. There was no reason she couldn't have had a hospital birth and epidurals. She doesn't have these things because he doesn't want her to have these things. It was, is, and always will be about the subjugation of women. And for some reason, y'all just aren't grasping it. The cruelty is the point, y'all. They know. They know. They know. Men are not dumb. Men are not stupid. You're being manipulated.
Just the fact that she called her page Ballerina Farm is so heartbreaking, like seeing everything and reading everything that we have now. That is still her soul, and she's essentially lost that soul to the farm. And like when you look at her cooking by her stove and you see the little ballerina picture up on the wall behind her, that is so heartbreaking. Like, this girl got a full ride to Juilliard. That is nearly impossible to do. And when you see her videos of her cooking and her doing this and doing that or talking with her husband, the just blank stare, the looking off, the disassociation. But when you see her dancing videos, it's just pure joy on her face.
Now, I know I have triggered a lot of you with what I've said so far. I know you want to charge into the ballerina farm like a cavalry, tear the man apart and rescue Anna with her 9 children. But wait first, let me pour water on your anger, or at least let me try. Shebi, you know that this woman was not a minor when she met this guy, Abi? Like, they were about 22 and 23 respectively. So she was well aware of what she was doing, and she must have seen something about him, you know, that made her say no for 6 whole months. And that freedom to say no shows that she was not coerced into this marriage. I know that adults can be manipulated, but she did choose this herself. And like she said previously in the interview, she knew her life would significantly change if she decided to go down this path in life, which suggests that she and Daniel most likely had conversations about this before she married him. And yes, I feel like things were rushed, you know. I mean, they dated for only 1 month, but she has not come out to say by herself that she's suffering in the marriage. And come on, we're all aware that journalism can be unofficially defined as the use of propaganda to elicit a desired response from the public. So if you're not hearing anything from the horse's mouth, how can we be so sure that the interviewer was completely unbiased in her report of what is happening on the ballerina farm?
But she was a ballerina, okay? We all give up shit for motherhood. Like, welcome to the club. I'm having a really hard time getting on the sympathy bus for this one. We're talking about a beautiful, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, rich white woman in the country of the United States of America. Like, why are you guys acting as if this woman is facing some sort of adversity that humanity has never seen before? She's married to a jerk. Now, I don't know the guy, but allegedly he stripped her of her dreams of being a ballerina. She was at Juilliard, whatever. I mean, it definitely takes 2 to tango. I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, I feel that bad for her because she married a rich man, and I guess, you know, what's the saying, like, marry a rich man and he'll make you work for every penny? Like, whatever. She made her bed. She's sleeping in it. Like, if she's okay with it, you guys should be too. Like, for crying out loud, this woman has a $12,000 stove. Like, she's going to be fine. Like, literally, no matter what, she'll be A-okay.
I'm confused why everyone's shocked about that article about Ballerina Farm actually living the trad wife reality. So y'all saw a woman with 8 kids milking cows on a farm and didn't think that she was actually living that in real life. I get people cap for the internet, but one thing you can't fake is 8 kids. Like, that was her actual reality. And she's not a victim. She chose that for herself. She knew she went to Juilliard. She knew she wanted to be a ballerina. She knew she was good at it. And she still chose to give that up to go be a wife. Like, that's just the reality. No one plucked her out of her dance recital and put her on a farm and impregnated her 8 times against her will. She chose that for herself. And I also don't like that the woman that wrote that article doesn't seem to be getting the smoke that she deserves. Because I get that's what journalists do. They don't tell you their biases and their true intentions around their articles. But that was just messed up. Because I'm sure if she would have went there and told them exactly why she was writing or interviewing them, they wouldn't have been a part of that interview.
I don't want to hear your take on Ballerina Farms unless you're considering exactly how much of her decisions are based on her Mormon faith. As someone who was very close to ending up in her same kind of situation, you are unfortunately not the person to be speaking into her life if you're not considering how deep her obligations go. I've seen plenty of takes infantilizing her, demonizing her, and everything in between, but surprisingly few that are acknowledging that this is clearly a woman whose duty goes to the depths of her soul. If you're not starting out with empathy about that, I don't want to hear it. You can feel really sad and scared about a woman's choices while still realizing that she may have reasons beyond your understanding for making them.
Anyway, until Anna comes out to say exactly what her life is like behind the scenes, all we can do is have our own opinions. And I'd love to see those opinions of yours in the comments section. And of course, hit the like and subscribe buttons and turn on your notifications if my content is your cup of tea and you want to see more of my videos. You're also encouraged to hit the share button so others can see the video also. And until I come your way again, take care and bye-bye.
When we started to farm, I was swept up in the beauty of learning to make food from scratch. It makes sense why I soon fell in love with the idea of a family milk cow. I was making my own butter, cheese, ice cream, and yogurt. As I began to explore this world, to cook and invent, I needed a way to share these products with more than just friends and family. I needed a dairy. So 2 years of planning, and then an additional 2 years of construction, and we finally did it. And soon we'll be sharing these products with all of you. So for date night tonight, Daniel and I snuck over to the dairy. The temperature was perfect. Little Flora Joe was giggling, and the cows were gorgeous. It's the world we created, and I couldn't love it more.